Hey guys, this is Marc Smith, one of the student ministers here at DSM. So we're bringing back Weekly Nuggs, or short thoughts for the week bouncing off of our Sunday talks. And this week, Brooke Fuller talked about Romans chapter 8, and the fact that if we follow God, then we are called God's children and heirs to God's glory. But what does that mean? Well, I don't know if you guys think much about inheriting things from the elder members of your family, but it's a thing. Somebody dies and usually leaves their possessions to children or descendants. So I have a pocket knife here that I inherited from my grandfather. It's not very valuable when you consider what it might sell for, but it's very valuable to me because it is sentimental. It reminds me of my grandfather because he always had a pocket knife around. And not only did he always have a pocket knife around, but his pocket knives were always incredibly sharp, like razor sharp. You see, my grandfather was a very meticulous man. He took care of his possessions down to the finer details. Kind of reminds me of me, actually. I definitely inherited that gene, that attention to detail, sometimes even to a fault. That's why this knife is so special to me, because it reminds me of who my grandfather was. Come to think of it, who I am is what I really inherited from him. Come to think of it, that's what you really inherit when you follow God, who God is. God's purpose, God's joy, God's power, God's name and identity, like you belong, God's grace, God's faithfulness and loyalty, God's love and God's victory over sin and death. Those are things that you inherit as a child of God. And that's pretty special. Something to think about. Love you guys. Have a great week.